The springtime Arctic is a landscape of deception. What appears empty is actually a heavily traveled survival corridor. He has tracked this herd for 3 days, using the howling wind and groaning ice to mask the sound of his approach. A polar bear can detect prey from miles away, but finding them is only the first phase of a highly calculated survival equation. To survive, he must rely on tactical intelligence rather than raw power, using these jagged pressure ridges to completely hide his approach. A direct assault on an adult is mathematically impossible. His only hope is to trigger a panic and isolate a smaller calf in the chaos. The distance is closing. Now, he just needs the ice to shift. By spreading his 600-pound frame flat against the snow, he minimizes vibrations that would otherwise alert the herd. But instinct is a powerful alarm. A 2,000-pound bull becomes restless, scanning the white expanse. The threat passes, and the bear shifts tactics, utilizing the wind to mask his approach. But spring temperatures are rising. The sea ice is actively degrading, turning this battlefield into a collapsing trap. He uses the deep groans of the shifting ice as acoustic camouflage, allowing him to close the final distance undetected. At 20 yards, the margin for error disappears. Every step tests the limits of the fragile shelf. The thunderous crack shatters the silence, and the young bear prepares to exploit the coming chaos. A single strike from a yard-long tusk is instantly lethal. The bear must weave through a forest of deadly ivory. In a panic, a herd this large becomes an accidental trap. The massive adults block the escape route for the younger animals. A confrontation here means death. He relies entirely on his mobility to bypass the heavy defender. Bears are incredible swimmers, but they cannot hunt in deep water. Now, the priority shifts from predation to immediate survival. He must get out of the water immediately. But the very ice that collapsed under him now forms an impossible vertical wall. Panic is a predator's worst enemy. Relying on intelligence, he navigates the fracture to find a shallower slope. A harsh lesson in Arctic survival. Immense energy spent, no calories gained, and the deadly threat of exposure ahead. Wet fur is a death sentence in sub-zero winds. The bear must instantly purge the seawater before it freezes against his skin. Exposed on the open ice, he is vulnerable to the bitter wind. He needs the shelter of the pressure ridge to recover his core heat. The wind on the ice is a messenger, and the scent it carries now is blood. An adult female is a terrifying opponent, but an injured, isolated adult changes the predator's entire survival calculus. The slush-covered ice offers terrible traction. A single slip here guarantees a fatal puncture. In a stunning display of territorial confidence, the injured prey becomes the aggressor. The momentum of the encounter has entirely shifted. The hunter is now trapped against the very ice he used to hide. Cornered by a heavier opponent, the predator must sacrifice his offensive posture to survive. He seeks the only remaining safe zone, vertical elevation. But survival remains uncertain. The adrenaline fades, leaving the young bear at the mercy of the freezing wind. She abandons the ice. Her thick hide has absorbed the predator's attack, proving the evolutionary perfection of her anatomy. But the Arctic ecosystem is rarely silent. A subtle auditory cue instantly overrides his exhaustion. The bloody scent of the stampede has drawn the true apex predator of the Arctic Ocean. The injured female returns. But she is not counterattacking. She is fleeing something else. The polar bear recognizes the threat. In the hierarchy of the Arctic Ocean, the bear is no longer the apex predator. The strike is calculated and precise. It targets the only vulnerable point still submerged. The crushing pressure of two enormous animals focused on a single point of ice guarantees structural failure. In the deep, raw mass is neutralized by hydrodynamic perfection. The struggle is incredibly brief. Mammalian lungs cannot fight against the crushing depths. From the safety of the pressure ridge, the young bear observes the brutal reality of the ecosystem's hierarchy. He survives today, but his thermal debt is massive, and he has burned irreplaceable calories. He must keep moving. The ice is vast, and the window to learn how to survive it is rapidly closing. Nature offers no guarantees, only the endless, unforgiving test of adaptation.